So if you remember back, what I've been saying is we talk about immigration, but we only look at a couple very tiny components of this. So you've been listening in class, right?
Yep.
Are you confused sufficiently?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, good, man. So I've done my job.
Yes, you have.
And today, just responsibility, okay? So we just want to hear, like, you think about what's on the Statue of Liberty, okay? Give us your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to be free. It's a poem by Ezra Lazarus, I think. And it's on the book, the scroll that she's holding, the statue. So my first question for you is, how should that play in our immigration policy?
Well, I think it's important to remember that America, as it is now, fundamentally is a nation of immigrants. Really everyone here, unless you have Native American ancestry, wasn't originally from here. And I think that brings with it a sort of responsibility to continue to be a melting pot and a place that people come to make a better life.
Okay, a melting pot, but but how about in terms of people who need to come, let's say, people who really are struggling and
Well, there's more people that need to come or that are really struggling than we can reasonably take in. But there needs to be at least a potential pathway for people to come in.
Okay. So how do you think about that yourself, though? Just for you, need to make sure that I have enough, that my family has enough. If I have children, they have enough. People around me, et cetera, like that I have a job, I can buy a house, whatever it is, right? I have the resources I need.
American dream. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you think about that yourself?
I am fortunate enough that I, as well as many of you that are here, will be able to have enough.
When you say you're fortunate enough, what do you mean by that?
I come from a background where I don't have to worry about college debts, and I've been given opportunities to succeed.
When you look out at this room, right, and so about 20% of the people in the room are international students, but when you think about how wealthy people are, and you're just going to do a generalization here of people, what do you see? How wealthy are they compared to the rest of the world?
I bet that most people in this room are in the top 10 or 20% of wealth globally.
Globally?
Yeah.
Which means that they're a lot like you.
Yes.
How many think are in the top 1% of global wealth?
20% of the class.
20%?
Of global wealth, not necessarily American wealth.
Yeah. Global wealth. So they're in the top 20, and you are for sure. How many? So in the top 1%, you would say.
Yep.
Are you all thinking about that for yourself? So before we go on, right? Just think for yourself. Like, what do you imagine? Where are you? Where do you fit? This is 2020. It hasn't changed very much. Okay. So on the left are percentage of adults. The top 1% are people who are adults who are millionaires. In terms of their assets, which is money and major assets, like your house, vacation home, whatever that would be, minus your debt, your liabilities. This guy right here might live in an $800,000 house with his parents, but his parents still owe the bank $500,000. So that means $300,000 that goes into your wealth or your parents' wealth. Then look at middle class. It's $100,000 in wealth to $1 million. Okay, that's 11%. So if you go to 12%, now what percentage of class is in the top 12%? What would you guess?
I bet at least 40% of the class is in that. I mean, a net worth of $100,000.
They're talking about their parents here.
Or yes, the families of the people in this class. I bet 40% of them have a net worth of $100,000 or more.
Anyone disagree with that?
I'd say probably closer to like 80, 90%.
Yeah. Anybody else? You think that? Because I'm going to say it's about 98%, if I had to guess. Yeah. And I would say, so what percentage is in the top 1%?
Of that 98%?
No, just of the class. What percentage?
Man, I'll up my estimate. Let's say 30% then.
I would say probably if I look at your parents, if it's not your parents now, it's the parents in a short period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say it's probably 3/4 if I had to guess.
Are in the 1%?
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Here, this is a different world, man. It wasn't true in the past. And if you're not in the 1%, you're destined to be in the 1%. And people in here, you and other people, definitely 3/4 of you are destined, you will be in the 1%.
You said 20% of this class are people not from the U.S.?
Yeah. And you can assume they're all pretty wealthy.
Yeah. So I think I can make the assumption that if you're more well off, it's much easier to come to the U.S. I don't think that's a difficult leap to make.
Yeah. Let me do an experiment with you, okay? So let's go with 12%. So there's 700 people in here. For every 100 people, it's 12. So we got to multiply 12 times 7. So that's going to be more or less this entire section here minus the back row, okay? If this is the world right here, you guys control you. This is the number of people who control 85% of all the wealth. And all of these people out here, everybody else, all of you, you control 15%. 15%. All of you.
It's crazy to see it visualized that way, because it just, there's so little that the bottom 90% actually have comparatively.
55% of the planet controls 1% of the wealth. So 55% of you all, right? If this is the planet here, 55%, which is like this entire bottom section is 55% of this classroom, okay? Bro, you feeling rich? You feeling pretty good? Like, you feeling rich? You feeling rich? Feeling wealthy? It's like 55% of the world, y'all, right? Like, and you're thinking like, oh, God, you think about it, bro. Think of all the times when you're like, oh, man, I don't have enough, or I'm not going to have enough, or whatever. Imagine being one of these people.
I mean, when you think about it that way, it's pretty unfair.
I don't know. Is it unfair? That's not for me to decide. That's for you to decide. That's for you all to do you think it's unfair?
Yeah. Because I don't think that we pride ourselves as Americans in a capitalist system as being a meritocracy. That people who work the hardest and who are the smartest are the ones that are going to do well.
Okay.
And what that statistic tells me is that that's at the very best only partially true.
Okay.
Just because the bottom 55% that owns that 1% of the wealth isn't going to have the same opportunities that you or me or anyone else in this room necessarily has.
Yeah. And now, we pride ourselves here in the U.S. about, well, this is the land of opportunities, and if you work hard, you'll succeed and all of that, right? But now we're talking about the world, but as a nation, we're talking... Dude, I got a story for you. Mm-hmm. So I was in Haiti, and we were driving on just one of the main roads in Haiti, and I had to stop and get my cell phone fixed. And we stopped, and there was this kid sitting on a tire on the side of the road, and I give him my phone. It's cracked. And this kid pulls out, he's about 7 years old. Bro, 7 years old. This kid, he's sitting there, pulls out these tools. They were not Apple tools. They were just tools. He pulls them out, takes my phone apart, gets a screen, puts it on, does whatever he does.
7-year-old?
Dude, 7 years old. Maybe he was 8. I don't know. It's hard to say. Gives it back to me. And I'm like, if that kid lived in State College, if that kid lived in if he had gone to high school, if he had the opportunity to go to your high school, where would he be in 30 years?
Oh, not in Haiti, I'll tell you that.
Not fixing cell phones on the side of the road?
On a tire? Yeah, no.
You know where he is, though?
Where?
Right where he was. I mean, He's in Haiti. Mm-hmm. He's not, things got even worse. So he's right where he was. He's probably still fixing cell phones. And So now think about immigration, right? So you think like this is just this issue of humanitarianism, responsibility. Are you a Christian?
No,
What are you?
I'm not religiously
Nothing?
affiliated.
Okay, well, think about everyone think about God, right? What would God say? What's God say?
He wouldn't be pleased.
She
wouldn't be pleased.
Yeah. Well, maybe she would. Maybe
I
it's
would
okay.
hope not.
I don't know. Maybe so. I don't know, right? Like, this is the question. This is what I'm trying to do in here, get you all to think. Like, first off, most of you are rich, man. When you talk about wealthy people, at least half of you are in the 1%. So it's like, yeah, feels pretty good. Yeah. If it doesn't feel good, you just need to turn your attention elsewhere.
It really does, not to go back to this, but it speaks to the opportunity we all have.
Some more than others, but
yes, but we're all here getting an education.
Yeah.
And it speaks to what people like that kid in Haiti could do if given the chance to come here.
Yeah. Sure. Absolutely, man. And it speaks to how many things that happened to me that I didn't do. They just happened to me, and they happened to you because you're here, right? And how about this? How about remittances? You know, all these people that migrate, including people who are undocumented,
And they send money back.
they send money back. What do you think about that?
I think it's a positive for
Look
those
at that.
families.
Look at the 1%, right?
Yep.
We look at that. Look at the 1 and 14%. So 15% is like 90% of the world's, almost 90% of the world is controlling 15%, right?
Right.
So think about that and think about remittances back home.
I think it speaks to how much of an opportunity immigration is, because people that were, dirt poor are able to not only improve our economy, but they're able to help elevate their families and their home countries in the process.
Yeah, that's right. And maybe even not dirt poor, maybe just
somewhat poor.
But the idea is, we are we are the United States. We're a lot of things, but we're also humanitarian. Like, you can't just, we throughout history, we sometimes do some really bad things, but sometimes we look at suffering and we fix it. So it's like, okay, the remittances are good. Send money back home.
Absolutely.
It's not like foreign aid that we have to spend. It's foreign policy. Right? When I started traveling in places where there was considerably more poverty, it just shifted my thinking tremendously. And this is the thing. Like, here in the U.S., we get in this dialogue about, white privilege and like white privilege in the U.S., right? Okay, yeah, sure, white people control a greater percentage of the wealth in this country, but if you're here, and you're in this classroom, you're probably doing quite well, man. Don't just be looking at somebody else.
Yeah.
Hey, what'd you think about that, by the way?
About like the wealth?
Yeah, what we talked about.
Yeah, it was crazy. I had never seen it visualized like that. I thought it was really cool. Not cool, sad.
Well, it is what it is, right? Yeah. What do you think my reasoning is to show that and talk about that?
I think it's a really good way to show like both everybody in the class and like everybody watching like what your real position is in the world as like compared to everyone else and like the wealth that everybody else has globally.
Yeah. It's like you think better.
Yeah.
If you understand, the more you understand, the better you can think.
For sure.
And it doesn't mean become a liberal, like, oh my God, we have to help everybody out. It's not that at all. It's just don't be dumb. You know what I mean? Like, don't be dumb. And like, you know what I mean? Like, you want to be smarter. Every day you want to be smarter. So it's like, yeah, man, understand your position.